Hello, good morning, afternoon, Wednesday, May 5th, another day, another horrific genocide to go over. But good news is I also have another headband. Okay, set. So, moving in, right, compare and contrast genocides in Cambodia, Rwanda, and Darfur. That is our work for today. Can bring you back again to this is our week. Monday and Tuesday, Rwanda. Wednesday and Thursday, Darfur. Friday is the flex day. Then next week, we have our short exam. Okay. Back to today's work. Our throwback. Why did Sudan and South Sudan partition into two countries? Now, this is making you think all the way back to our first unit, nationalism. Right? If we can't be very specific, think in general, why do countries divide? Or why do they come together? What three things do they have to have, right? Ethnicity, language, religion. So Sudan and South Sudan do not share these three things. Specifically, we have a divide ethnically, linguistically, and racially. Okay, so some background on Sudan, South Sudan. Um, the whole thing, all of Sudan, used to be a British colony, Great Britain, going back all the way to the 1800s. They get independence in 1956. It's predominantly the north part, the yellow, is Islamic, where they are Muslims, and they are Arabs. They speak Arabic, whereas the southern part is more Christian, more dark-skinned Black African, not Arabic, not Middle Eastern looking, and they speak more of a Bantu language, okay, or English. There was a 20-year civil war that took place um, from like 1989 forward for 20 years, and finally South Sudan gets independence in 2011. Um, a little bit about their president of Sudan is Omar al-Bashir. We can see already that he is very Islamic, Arabic sounding name. All right, anything with an AL is Islamic. So he leads a coup in 1989 and also kind of kicks off that civil war. He is a supreme autocrat or a dictator, even though he has the title of president. Eventually, the ICC, the Internal Criminal Court, International Criminal Court, is going to charge him with crimes against humanity after the Darfur genocide. But even after that happens in 2010 and 2015, he wins elections because he is a dictator and he can kind of rig and fix the ballots. Thankfully, he was removed from power by the Sudanese military in April of 2019, though. Okay, so going back into now the genocide and the human rights violations that took place. So, as we can see, even though the Republic of South Sudan is kind of getting independence, even though the genocide takes place before actual independence, they kind of do have a little bit of autonomy in the South. We're going to focus on this area over here, this region of Darfur, which is still part of Sudan, even after the civil war, even after everything. Okay, they do not get any kind of independence or autonomy. The Sudan Liberation Army, or the SLA, is working in Darfur to get Darfur independence. Obviously, the Sudanese president, Omar al-Bashir, who is against losing more territory, he's also against these rebels, this rebel group. Okay, next slide. Since he just went into a long civil war, Bashir does not want to do this again. So he hires these rogue bandit kind of groups called the Janjaweed. Has nothing to do with what you might think. But in Arabic, it literally translates as devil on horseback. So this Janjaweed group right here is large. It's a large military group. They are charged with getting rid of the SLA, or the Sudan Liberation Army, out of Darfur. They take this as a very extreme way. They murder, rape, steal. They kill any kind of food or cattle, and they burn entire villages down to the ground. Any means necessary of getting rid of this Sudan Liberation Army rebel group. In this time, the population of Darfur is about 6 million people. So that region is 6 million people out of Sudan. About 500,000 were killed. Now, that's not the larger number. What we do see is that 2.7 million people become refugees. A lot of what's going on is the burning down of these villages or the destroying of crops and food. So people are forced to flee Darfur into the neighboring countries of Chad, the Central African Republic, or South Sudan. And that's quite a bit of people being forced out of their homes. Okay, on to the work. So we have 2 days of lessons again. There we go, just get that a little bigger for you. There it is. What led to the genocide in Darfur? Again, similar to what led to it, what were the human rights violations that were committed, and how did people react? Okay, so this is the work for Wednesday, 5/6. Quick little introduction for you. Directions: read the quote below and examine the image. So here's our quote. In just one day, I lost 21 men and 2 women from my immediate family. But a story never stands alone. My story is just one of many in a camp of more than 200,000 displaced people, and those numbers are growing every day. I have now been living in Kalma since late 2003, after my village was attacked by the Janjaweed. In the early morning hours, they set the entire village on fire and looted thousands of our livestock and valuable belongings. To this day, those who committed these horrific crimes were never held accountable. This is by Abdul, a survivor of the genocide in Darfur, speaking in 2013. This is an image of a refugee camp, similar to the one where Abdul and his family were relocated to in the country of Chad, which is next to Darfur. So based on the quote, what were the effects of the violence in Darfur on Abdul's life? So what happens? Some effects are that Abdul lost many members of his family by either separation or being murdered. Abdul was also forced to flee his home and become a refugee in another country. In this case, Chad, but people would go to other places as well. Okay, so there's the little intro for you. Today's work for Wednesday, May 6th, is similar to the past couple days, right? You are watching this short little video, about 2 minutes, giving me the where, the when. So try to tell me like where. Yes, this is in Darfur. That is the region of Sudan, which is in northern Africa. Give me some good specifics. When is this happening? What are the groups that are involved? I'm just going a little more in detail to contextualize. When is this happening? Right? You can talk about the Civil War. Right? This is the early 2000s. Whatever you like. After reading through this little website a little bit, the same one that you've been going to, as well as watching the video. Where is this happening? This is in the Darfur of Sudan. It's in northern Africa. Why is this happening? Talk about the different ethnic groups. Talk about the different language groups, the different religious groups, civil war that took place, Janjaweed, all that. Sheer, okay? And then in this part, remember you are going to combine everything together. Combine all other areas into 2 to 3 sentences, right? Okay. I've also given you a handy-dandy word bank to help you complete that. And then lastly, similar to what we've done the past few days, check off what has been going on. So again, same similar website that we've been using. Right, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. Got a couple different tabs: background, violence, and response. Okay. So here we also have some background information, country divided, which will also help you. The North-South conflict, the Civil War, what Darfur looks like. You've got all the different ethnic and linguistic and religious groups there. Loss of civilian life, what took place, what the Janjaweed did. Here's all of these things bullet pointed out for you. Okay. I'm going to leave most of this up to you. I will, however, check off this one. This one's a little different than the others because there are not everyone, Article 13, everyone has the right to freedom of movement and resistance within borders of each state. However, they were forced to leave their country, man. All right, 2.7 million. So I'm going to do Article 13. Describe what happened. 2.7 million people from Darfur became refugees. Explain how that event that took place violates human rights. Okay, so one of the basic human rights, right? Living in your home is a basic human right. Living safely in your home is a basic human right. When people are forced to flee because of threat of violence or any other reason, it is violating their human rights. Their basic rights to a home are taken away. Okay. Articles. Those 6 of them that you've been using the past couple of days, all the same. Okay. Again, if you have any questions, I'll be on a chat on Wednesday. Thursday, I keep saying April. May 7th, I will also, you can just always be available through comments or emails. I try to respond as fast as possible. Okay. If you need anything over the weekend, please let me know because I will not be able to see you. Because tomorrow, Friday, you have your flexible catch-up day, whatever you want to call it. Okay. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you soon. All right.